Beyond Reality is an RPG Maker game created using the RPG Maker VX Ace engine for the 2014 Indie Game Maker Contest, a contest which results in the creation of a massive amount of games. This year's contest resulted in almost 700 entries. As you can imagine, this means that all of the games are relatively short in order for the judges to complete them in a reasonable time frame in order to judge them completely. Because of this, Beyond Reality only clocks in around 1 hour of actual gameplay time, but is that enough time to create a world and give a game a satisfying conclusion? Well, to answer the question about the narrative, in this case I'd have to say no. The game contains many themes, and has so little time to devote to them that they barely feel connected at times. The game also suffers from a rather weak ending in my opinion, since it undermines the supposed sacrifice of one of the characters. Despite those flaws though, the themes are good, so the game's plot sort of works despite its flaws, and the developer is planning on expanding the game to about 2 hours, which may fix my complaints with the narrative. Beyond Reality is a rather standard turn-based RPG, with enemies visible on the screen, which makes it hard for me to really criticize the game because I'm a fanboy for turn-based battle systems, but I still have a few complaints. 1. The defensive buff ability is relatively useless in my opinion, since the bosses will usually attack with magic. 2. The game will provide you with a massive amount of mana potions, but the only character that can use them is only in your party for about half of the game, and even then, you can usually overwhelm everything rather easily with melee skills that don't require mana. In short, the vast majority of mana potions that you'll pick up are entirely useless. On the bright side, the game does feel like it has a decent amount of balance in its combat, despite having a low level cap of 5. And I'd say mostly balanced, since you can usually get by rather easily with health potions you'll pick up, though it is worth your time to grind for a few if I'm being honest. You can also purchase them in the castle, but considering how frequent a drop they are, it's just farming for them for 10 to 15 minutes. In terms of visuals and sound, this game is excellent. The character models show a definite workman to them, the tile sets feel fitting for the various environments, except for the fact that none of the bedrooms in the castle contain a bed, but that is a small detail in the grand scheme of things. The only major drawback to this game that I encountered visually is that status buffs appear over your characters' faces on the combat screen. On the sound side of things, the game features a soundtrack that feels both appropriate and fitting, and definitely helps in aiding the presentation. I guess that only leaves my overall opinion of the game, and my final verdict on whether this game is worth playing. And I'll be honest in saying this game is worth checking out if you have an hour to kill. I'd like to give the game a must-play, but the story needs more refinement in my opinion in order to be given such a rating. As it stands, this game is a great time killer though.